and other families, family members.
On your end, is it more about monitoring development of these kids?
That's one large component of what we're learning. So we're learning a lot about development and how children with autism, or even just risk signs for autism, develop over time, and the kinds of things that help their outcomes improve. But we're also doing some studies with an intervention component so that we can understand better what helps to improve the outcomes for these kids and their families.
What would you say at this point is the best way to treat autism, or does it differ with different children?
That's such a good point. Everybody's so different who's on the autism spectrum. So it's one word that describes such a variety of individuals. But I would say that we've learned a lot, and one of the most important and helpful things that we've learned is that very early intensive intervention improves outcomes for over half the children who participate, really dramatically improve. And even the children who don't maybe make as much progress also make important gains by participating in intervention.
And I was wondering, have you looked into treating adults with autism? You don't really hear very much about that.
That's right. I think that the clinical services that we're providing are kind of ahead of the research in many ways, but we're interested very much so in helping adolescents transition to adulthood and gain independence skills. We're also looking at, actually Dr. Dager and I are doing a study following up on children who we've been working with for about 10 years who are now teenagers. And we're really interested in understanding the development of anxiety and depression so that we can better anticipate the needs of adolescents with autism.
That study, being 10 years, is that one of the most long-term studies that has been done at this point?
There's a number of studies around the world that have looked at kind of the longitudinal or progression of autism. But the interesting thing about this study is largely because of Dr. Dager's involvement, but also because of colleagues that are studying genetics and other aspects of autism. These are children who've been very well characterized. That's how we would put it scientifically. So we understand things not only about their behavioral development, but also medically, their brain development, genetics, a lot of different facets of their development over time.
I might add to that. No, you keep the box, but I'll just. One of the things, for example, we're interested in following this group of now adolescents that we first started studying at age 3, and doing a variety of genetic and physiological and endocrinological and just looking at the developmental progression of their symptoms and also not just symptoms but coping patterns. How they've been able to adapt to their symptoms and do better. One of the mysteries of autism, and there's lots, is that why kids with autism are at such high risk for seizures as they go into adolescence. So there's a tremendously increased prevalence or risk rate for seizures or epilepsy as children develop into adolescence if they happen to have autism. And the prevalence estimates range anywhere from 20 to 35%. And there's different factors in terms of risk factors for this. But one of the things that we're looking at is if some of our brain imaging information can help us better predict those kids that are at risk who go on to developing seizures. Because it's actually very hard clinically to appreciate if a kid's having seizures or just a behavioral meltdown. And so this is just one example of how we hope that some of our research that has as its primary focus understanding the mechanisms for autism and the underlying causes may provide some very tangible help for the families. So.
Great. All right. Well, we want to thank everyone from the University of Washington Autism Center for coming down here. Stay and have a drink. It is the happy hour here at Fox Sports Grill. So if you're in the area, definitely stop by. We even have our own drink, the Greg Haugen Knockout Punch, right? I've been told there's no punch in this. We're going to try one a little later here. So yeah, definitely. I'll try one too. And so we'll be back broadcasting live here very soon.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.